So Elon Musk once again sent federal workers and their media supporters into a tailspin this weekend by sending out via the Doge team an email saying, please name 5 things that you've worked on this week. And it was not well received, I think it's fair to say. Cue 10,000 articles about how inappropriate he is and what an offense this was. I'll give you just one example. New York Democratic Senator Andy Kim. To our public servants, I'm sorry you're being threatened. You deserve so much better. I remember how proud I was when I first swore my oath as a civil servant, honor of a lifetime. Remember why you chose to serve. Stay strong. I and many others will be right by your side. Somebody on X responded, don't you think you're being a little bit dramatic? I could easily respond to this email from my employer. I actually do go to my job and work. They're freaked out that his email was, what did you do last week? And he told them to summarize their accomplishments. On X, he said failure to respond would be taken as a resignation. He did not say that in the actual email, but I'm not sure I'm so sorry for your loss, the honor of your job having been removed, Victor.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way to enforce it, but I think he wanted to draw attention to how outraged they would get and then contrast it with what everybody puts up with every day. Even at a think tank where I work, when I heard this, almost simultaneously, I got an email and it said, this is time for your annual review, Victor. Would you please list all the things that you have done and for the entire year, day by day? And we do that every year. Everybody does that. And sometimes they do it by the month, sometimes they do it by the week. But the idea that you don't have to do that. So when they got this outrage, I think it's sort of trolling them. And yeah, I think it really helped Kash Patel because he said, well, we're not going to do it at the FBI because I protect the rank and file and they report to me. And that was kind of the criticism that the left was making. A few have now
said that. So just so we're clear, but Kash said that you don't have to do it at the FBI. Pete said that at Defense. You don't have to do it here. Tulsi just said that over the intelligence agency. You don't have to do that here. And of course, the judiciary. There was a mass email sent out to judges and judges' staff, who that's appropriate. The Article 3 branch does not have to respond to edicts coming from the presidency, from Article 2. So it's fine that they did that and at the judiciary. But yeah, you've got a bunch of people within the executive branch saying no.
Yeah, I think that was good because it shows there's disagreement that Elon's got good ideas, but everybody's not following him. And these cabinet people and agency heads protect their own. And that's the kind of message they wanted. And whether he was serious in the beginning, I'm not sure, but it didn't hurt him at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, honestly, you would think it was like, he was like, come submit your DNA, saliva, and blood. And it was like, he asked what you did this week. What are 5 things you accomplished this week? And they didn't want to answer it. And I'm sure, Elon said in his defense, what we're finding is that there's so many federal employees who don't even check their email. They don't come to work. They don't check their email. They're out to lunch. They don't come to the office. That's one of the big things that they're trying to do, get them to return to the office because they don't believe they're working. They think they're sitting at home watching their stories on the taxpayer dime. And in a lot of cases, they are. So they can't fill out the list of 5 things.
Yeah, I think what everybody's upset about is that every single day we get plants that shut down or they move offshore or they're redirected or some corporation has an economy. They're on the bottom line. It's all red. So they're cutting. This happens every day to Americans and they don't get any type of coddling like federal employees. But when it happens to federal employees, we're supposed to feel like this is horrible. They're doing this now with the National Park Service in Yosemite and they have an upside down flag. And I thought when I read it, that there must be thousands of layoffs. I think it was 10 people out of, I don't know, it was 1,200 or something. 10 people were found not to be essential. So this psychodrama that all these federal employees have, and most studies show they're making 30 to 40% more than people in the private sector. And you think the private sector would make more because they don't have job security and they take greater risk, but that's not true. And so I think, again, it's going to boomerang, maybe not in the short term, but when people start to see these employees who are better paid than they are, and they have more job security, and they're screaming and yelling about not wanting to do what the people in the private sector have to do almost every week, month, and year. It's not, it's again, it's not going to work. And I think that might be one of the reasons that Elon Musk did it.
Yeah, to be accountable. That's what I expect of my staff. That's what's always expected of me when I had a boss. And that's absolutely what we expect of our federal workers. Now, on the topic of accountability, this is actually really interesting. Dan Bongino was offered and accepted the position as number 2 at the FBI under Kash Patel, Deputy Director of the FBI. Dan Bongino, one of the greatest guys in America, who is former NYPD, former Secret Service, who has been like on the pointy edge of the spear on calling down the BS attacks on Trump and with respect to the investigations against him and all that stuff for a long time now. To me, I'm amazed he took it, because even though we absolutely could use him, and he's definitely qualified, notwithstanding the fact that he hasn't been at the FBI, all the panties are in a bunch over there, reportedly at the FBI. He's not one of us. Yes, exactly. Right. That's why he got the offer. But I can't believe he took it. I guarantee you he's making millions of dollars doing that podcast. It was very successful. And so good for him. You know, it's a self-sacrifice. He's definitely very close with Trump. He's had a religious reconnection or awakening post his significant cancer experience, which, I mean, he almost lost his life. And I'll bet anything he really felt called. So he's going over there. But this is, I wanted to show you this. Some savvy Twitter user, do we have it? Yeah. Found this soundbite of Dan in his last show on Friday. And I think he's doing a show today, so we'll hear more today, I think. And listen to this soundbite in lieu of what we now know.
Folks, I strongly encourage you to go back and take another look today at the Russia collusion hoax. We had the FBI, in conjunction with the Department of Justice, officials in Congress, foreign governments, and intel people, fabricate a story, invent a story that could have caused and done serious long-term harm to international relations with a nuclear-powered foe. It's kind of a big freaking deal. I'm not letting it go. And you listen to me. This is going to be very important in the coming days. I'm not letting this go. I want to find out what happened, because it can never happen again. Not to a Democrat, not to a Republican, not to a Libertarian, not to any United States citizen. You don't get to do that. Why do I bring that up now? Because who is the ringmaster of that circus? Yes, Adam Schiff. And no, I'm not letting it go.
Adam Schiff. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Adam Schiff lied, and he may have lied under oath. When we had the first impeachment, when Alexander Vindman broke protocol and disclosed a classified, or at least a maybe top secret call, and he called the so-called whistleblower Eric Ciaramella and said that Donald Trump was trying to leverage congressionally approved aid for quid pro quo investigation of the Biden family. They went to Adam Schiff and they talked to Adam Schiff and they strategized with Adam Schiff how to impeach Donald Trump. And then Adam Schiff said that that didn't happen, that they had never discussed anything about impeachment and that was a complete and outright lie. He has a very good point, Megyn, when he says that we've always looked at this as in the realm of abuse of the FBI. And I would add to that, they had the Hunter Biden laptop for 1 year, and they knew it was authentic, when Clapper and Brennan and Michael Hayden and Mike Morrell were lying to the country on the eve of an election that this was a product of Russian disinformation. And any time the FBI could have come forward and told the truth, but they couldn't, because they were also working with Twitter and Facebook to suppress the New York Post stories. And so when you look at Robert Mueller, who said under oath that he did not know what the Fusion GPS conglomerate was. He did not know what the Steele dossier, the two catalysts for his own appointment. And then you look at the next one, James Comey, who pled amnesia 245 times under oath to the House Intelligence Committee. And then also memorialized a classified talk with the President of the United States, confidential, and then leaked it to the New York Times. And then you look at the next one, Andrew McCabe, the interim FBI, and he lied 4 times, according to Michael Horowitz, the Inspector General. 4 times he lied to federal investigators. And then we get Christopher Wray, and we see that he would not tell us whether there were any informants. There turned out to be, I think, 26 on January 6th. We had the whole school board mess, going after traditional Catholics, going after that. That is what Dan Bongino's talking about. This was an utterly corrupt hierarchy.
We continue to face uncertainty when it comes to the economy, with a perfect storm brewing as Social Security and Medicare hit a breaking point as the largest generation is hitting retirement. A smaller workforce means a smaller tax base. You pair that with our growing national debt and rising cost of living, and we could have a big problem. So what are you doing now to protect your family for the future? Well, gold can be a safe haven in hard economic times, and Birch Gold makes it easy to diversify a portion of your savings into physical gold. Birch Gold will help you transition an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and it does not cost you 1 cent out of pocket. Protect your future today. Text MK to 989898 and get your free info kit on gold and a copy of the Ultimate Guide for Gold in the Trump Era with a foreword by Donald Trump Jr. There's no obligation, just information. Birch Gold has earned the trust of countless Americans looking to safeguard their savings. Just text my initials MK to the number 989898 today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.